Don't you die on me, damn it! BB's dropping!
Intubate, now! Cardiac arrest, he's in B-fib!
Clear!
Wait a minute.
No response, hit him again!
Clear!
Did the real big boss die or something? And we're like a new big boss.
How's he doing?
Well, he stabilized, but it took too long. He's in a coma.
What about him?
Yeah.
Took some shrapnel. To the head.
Oh boy. So Ishmael was big boss. We're just some random guy. Oh fuck. I thought it was maybe a nightmare sequence, but facts do not exist, they're only interpretations. Yeah, thanks Kojima. You've built an entire franchise on that. Oh shit. And we're back to the beginning. Alright, so now they want us to see it through new eyes. So, wait a minute. Big Boss and this guy went into a coma at the same time. But then, if Ishmael was Big Boss, what the hell happened to him? Where did he go? Why has this game happened? The entire game was a dream. Again, content ID wise, I might have to mute this audio or replace it with something else. I don't have much choice. Yeah, so I think this is going to be the big twist. The fact that we weren't Big Boss all along. It has to be. But I mean, at the moment, that raises so many more questions than it answers that it's ridiculous. It explains a lot, because I mean, the Big Boss that we've had here is just a shadow of the former Big Boss, a phantom, if you will. But it kind of makes sense. But I just don't understand how it's been implemented. Has Big Boss, has he been in a coma for 9 years as well, or you know, was he only in a coma for like a week, and then they started to form this plan? They were both in a coma for 9 years. How does that even work? So I remember it was this cleavage that kind of got my eyesight back in focus, which was good. Is anything going to play out differently? Because this is identical so far to the beginning. I think they really want to drum it into your mind that Big Boss, the real Big Boss, was Ishmael. Yeah. Because I remember thinking at the end of Metal Gear Solid 4 that he did not have a giant piece of shrapnel sticking out of his head, and I think I mentioned that. And it didn't look like there was an operation that had it removed either. So that made me question this whole thing anyway. And obviously we had the fact that Kiefer was voicing both of them. So they must have modified his voice. Maybe this guy was never in a coma at all. They just modified his entire body to make him as Big Boss-like as possible. But then they did the face change really quickly. I think the doctor said, we've got 48 hours. And they managed to make the guy look identical to Big Boss. I don't usually talk over cutscenes, but because this is identical to the beginning, and I'm trying to make sense of this whole thing, I will be talking over it unless something different happens. In which case I will keep it to very much a minimum. So this is where my stupid face is going to come in, the one that I designed at the beginning.
V has come too.
They haven't even said Big Boss here, they said V. And the operation's already been set up here.
Has come too.
Oh boy. I mean, what does this say about the entire experience and the franchise after it? It's confusing.
Ακούς με?
Yeah, it's gonna be the can you move your head? All over again.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, because we're in
Are
the
you
same
having
bed.
difficulty speaking? Can you move your head?
Yeah, based on the position of the beds, definitely. Big Boss is on
Just
one bed to the left.
nod if you can hear me.
Wait a minute, were we in the other bed on the
Look
first part?
up, please.
Because when they were showing the face change, it was saying this is your face as you remember it now. And we saw Big Boss's face first, and then it transformed into the other
Very
face.
good.
Oh, wait a minute. Did we swap? We
Please
swapped
try to
identities.
relax. There is plenty of time.
Big Boss became this
I
guy,
need to tell you something.
and this guy
Please
became Big
listen.
Boss.
And try not to panic.
This also explains why Eli's
You've been
DNA
in a
test was
coma
negative.
for quite some time.
It's because obviously
Yes,
it doesn't
yes,
match with
I
Venom
know.
Snake.
You would like to know how long.
But is Cars in on this? Whose
I'm
idea is
afraid
this?
It's been
It,
9 years.
it makes it seem like Cars is in on it. Whose idea is this? Is it something that Zero's done in order to have a snake that he can control?
Try not to panic.
I would imagine
You'll
that
be all right.
like Novak Djokovic's dad might look a little bit like this doctor for some reason.
Just rest.
Okay.
How do you feel?
Yes, the plane crash. Right, so this is Psycho Mantis' plane crash.
It's been 1 week since you came to. Now, let's try getting you out of that bed. Nurse,
So the plane crashed, and Psycho Mantis' first stop was this
don't
hospital.
worry. You've lost some strength, but we've been maintaining your muscle mass through massages, CPM therapy, and EMS. Now, I need to explain something to you, but you mustn't be alarmed.
Because I think Big Boss had his arm as well at the end of Metal Gear
9
Solid 4.
years ago, you were injured in an explosion. Upon examination, we discovered 108 foreign bodies
It
embedded
still annoys
within.
me that they have 108 written like that.
In addition to shrapnel, we also found fragments of human bone and human teeth.
Oh.
Most of it was removed, but
Is it like
some
fragments
of the
of-
fragments still
Is
remain.
it like fragments of Big Boss?
They are located near your heart and in your skull.
I say that because I'm thinking of the whole Liquid Snake thing with Ocelot grafting Liquid's arm onto his own and all the problems that caused.
Look at this. The fragments are lodged deep within your cerebral cortex.
Does that mean I've lost my memory?
We couldn't give you an MRI, the metal, you see. But even if we were to extract it, you would most likely suffer a brain hemorrhage.
Fantastic.
Mental and physical impairment are unavoidable.
Yep, he certainly seemed a bit
However,
mentally
your
impaired.
current status is not life-threatening. One more thing. This X-ray is on your upper body. You better look now. Best to understand your situation sooner than later.
I think it looks like
I
it's a
know
good
it's
arm first.
difficult, but please look down.
I want to check back
It's
to the
best to
beginning
see with your
of the
own
game. I want to
eyes.
see
Be
if
brave.
they showed Big Boss first and then this guy. But I'm trying to remember the whole face thing with the mirror.
Try to calm down. Calm down. Please. Calm down. It's gonna be okay.
That's the bit that's going to seal it for me.
Yes, yes.
When the doctor
Calm
says this is
down.
your face as you've
Yes.
known it up until now, but it's going to change.
Yes.
Because I'm pretty sure they showed us the opposite version. They showed us Big Boss with the doctor saying, you've looked like Big Boss up until now, but now you're going to look like some random guy. And now we're seeing it through the perspective of random guy. I think that's how it's played out.
Ήδη γνωρίζει ότι έχει ξυπνήσει.
But I'm gonna have to
Διατρέχει
check.
μεγάλο κίνδυνο. Πρέπει να ενεργήσουμε άμεσα. Προετοιμάστε τον για εγχείρηση.
Wait a minute.
Δεν το πιστεύω.
So does this mean the big boss came to it around the same
It's
time?
true. There are those who wish he would never woken up.
Okay, so they're already instilling that
You
he's
should
big
be
boss.
dead, but you're not. The wheels are in motion. Your enemies are everywhere. We must alter your appearance immediately. Otherwise, I fear you won't leave this place alive. It's a wide open world up there, so there's something we need to take care of first.
Alright, here we go.
This
Yes.
is you, as you've lived until this day.
Okay.
I'm going to change your appearance. We have no other choice.
But who the fuck is this guy? Is he some random guy off the street? I guess he came in with Big Boss and those guys, so was he at Mother Base? But even so, who is he and why him? And how could he possibly be Big Boss? I mean, he doesn't have the skills, right? Big Boss isn't just about the look, it's about the skills. I mean, he doesn't remember anything. He's going to have to be briefed completely about the history and the knowledge.
Very good. Now let's remove these bandages.
But this guy doesn't know he's a fake,
Your
right?
face has healed nicely. To tell you the truth, these bandages were more for your protection, to hide you from those who want you dead. As of today, your name is Ahab. Forget
Yeah,
it.
that's quiet.
Your name, your past.
Yeah, okay. So they're completely tricking this guy into thinking that he's Big Boss. I guess if it's one of those psychological things, if you believe you're Big Boss, it's going to enhance your abilities anyway. But I mean, how much does he know about his past? Okay. Okay, what is the reason for this not being shown the first time? Good luck, Dan. Okay, so yes, they've made the player become Big Boss, and this guy is accepting the role. Okay, This is
Everything feels all right.
this is ridiculous. There's no way they could make him look like that and heal in 2 days. But like I said, I remember this mirror thing being the other way around. They showed us Big Boss first, and then they showed us the other guy. So I'm pretty sure Big Boss underwent the opposite kind of thing. But now, they really are here to kill Big Boss. And I think for me, my biggest issue with this intro was the fact that it all looked like it was set up in a way that Big Boss would survive. Well, Venom Snake, whatever. Because there's so many opportunities here to kill both Ishmael, who is obviously the real Big Boss, and Venom Snake, but they just don't take it. Like this here, just shoot in the face.
The patient in the next bed's on my face. Of course. Consider it done.
Why? This lady doesn't have a silenced gun. Quiet doesn't have a silenced pistol or anything. This is what I mean. That's my only deal with this. Why has this happened? Has this whole kind of XOF kind of mission here, is that all a ruse as well? So there's Big Boss. It's almost like what happened in Metal Gear Solid 2. He turned out to be someone different, and the real hero has been alongside you. So Big Boss never takes off the bandages, but I'm pretty sure he looks like us underneath it. Quiet as me. So I mean, did she feel guilty afterwards? She seems perfectly intent on killing us right now. She has a change of heart. Oh, so that's why she has the parasites, because she burns up here. And I guess she probably dies, and they probably bring her back. That's why she has her powers. Why is she still... I'm not sure I understand why she gets her skin back, because Skullface certainly doesn't. But it's quiet and she has big boobs, so for her it's more important. But everything's played out identically so far. I don't know if they're going to make us replay the entire thing, because if it does, that's a bit
Okay,
long.
have time to go.
What happened to the woman?
They even got the voice.
The woman? We gave her a light. She took the short way down.
You see, that's a big boss line right there.
Who am I? You're talking to yourself.
Yep.
Been watching over you for 9 years. You can call me
Okay.
Ishmael. What the hell is going on? Well, the good news is, you're in the land of the living. Bad news? Whole world wants you dead.
So this is the only kind of big boss.
Soldier. The whole place is coming down.
This is the only time Kiefer really voices Big Boss in this game. But, again, it's baffling because...
Here.
Digoxin.
Nothing like a little digoxin to get you back in the game.
Right, so he says I've been watching over you for 9 years. Is that literal or metaphorical? I mean, when I say literal, what I mean there is... Has he been in a coma too? Or has he, like, he got out of his coma very quick, or he, you know... It only lasted a very short time, and he's been planning this thing ever since then. If so, why the fuck would you turn this guy into Big Boss? He was just a random mother base soldier who was with you. Oh shit, now's not the time.
Drug's not working.
I mean, I'd be thinking that surely you pick someone who's a little bit more suited to the role, right? Why would you wait 9 years to do this? The only other alternative is that Big Boss was also in a coma for 9 years. They both came out of the coma at a similar time. And he had this idea after he recovered from his coma. So it's a coincidence that they were both in a coma for a very, very long time. But then he couldn't have been watching over him.
Move it.
He can't watch over him if he's in a coma, so I'm a bit confused. I think if this plays out identically, I'm going to edit it out because you don't need to watch the beginning again. You can head back to the first episode. Because from here on it becomes a tutorial. There's no more kind of tutorial stuff. Everything's going to be kind of properly revealed once we get to the ambulance after they crash and Venom Snake's left on his own. So I might skip ahead until that bit, if nothing else happens. Bloody Ishmael. What a strange plan. I'll kind of take a break, I'll go on holiday, smoke some cigars, while I get this random guy to become me and look after things at Mother Base. Very, very interesting plan. I mean, I don't know how they would get Cypher to believe it. And also, look, at the end of the day, you want someone who's going to look identical to Big Boss, right? Why the fuck would you choose a guy who has a massive piece of shrapnel on his head? I guess it's because he has the mental kind of impairment as a result of that. But I don't know. It's a weird plan, and it has big ramifications for the rest of the series. So I'm a bit confused. I mean, they've executed it really nicely, don't get me wrong. I love a story that ends with the same scene that it starts with. It's just it's a writing kind of thing that I love, but despite how well executed it was, I'm just not sure about it right now. Alright, I'll stop talking. I'll give this another minute or two, and if everything's the same, we will return after the ambulance. Alright, I'm pretty certain that everything played out identically, and if it isn't, if I've missed something, if there were some subtle differences, please let me know, because I'll re-upload this video, because that would be very stupid. But I'm pretty sure everything's played out identically to how it did the first time. So I'm going to start my commentary again from here, from where the ambulance comes and Ishmael saves our life. Because I mean, what happens if this guy dies here? There's no one from Big Boss's organisation to help him. You've got Cypher coming in, you've got Volgin, you've got Psycho Mantis, you've got XOF, and all you've got is Ishmael to protect his body double. So if this guy dies here, which I'm pretty sure he should have, based on everything that we saw, the bits where the guards leave them alone, the bit where they play dead, for example, none of that made sense to me, seriously. This guy should be dead. So that's why I think this is partly a ruse as well. Because I remember them saying something earlier on in the game about the fact that because of the shrapnel in his brain, he might hallucinate at times, and that's something that we never saw in the game. I don't think there was a single scene where Snake saw something that no one else could. I don't remember that happening ever. You know, the game's called The Phantom Pain, all that kind of stuff. I was kind of led to think. That's why I thought this might be a dream sequence. I thought the Psycho Mantis kid wasn't actually Psycho Mantis, but it was. I thought Vulcan wasn't real. But everything we've seen, they've told us is real in this game. So where's the hallucination here? I can't remember a single thing that happened. But everything's going to be revealed soon in the sense that what the hell happened to Big Boss. Alright, from here onwards, I'm cutting the commentary, because I'm pretty sure from here on we get new stuff. What happened? This better be good, seriously. Wait a minute, the mission ended? What? Is it? There must be the ending scene now. Surely.
This way, boss. Hurry.
Yep, he said this way, boss.
Use that bike. It's tuned up and ready to go.
Yep, Eva's bike.
I'll handle the rest. Here.
But Big Boss looks the same.
That's your name as of today.
Okay, yeah, he's me,
Best
but...
change your face, too.
So they didn't do that in the hospital?
Now this one, he'll take your place. From here on, he's Snake. He believes it, too.
My very own Phantom, huh?
Boss, the whole world wants your head. Don't worry, he can handle it. Move now, quickly.
Aren't you forgetting something? meet again.
Right.
Huh. So, is that it? Is it roll credits? He didn't even change his face. How's he going to get out of Cyprus? 1942, Code Talker helps create US military talkers, Code Talker cipher book. Death of the boss. The comatose Volgan transported to the research facility outskirts of Moscow. Code Talker begins research on the end's remains. Congo crisis. 68 Eva disappears, yep. Treaty on the non-proliferation of nuclear weapons enters into force. Major Zero disbands Fox. There's a Monterey project. Yep, Eli, Liquid Snake, and David Solid Snake. Big Boss parts with Zero. Code Talker discovers a strain of archaea that metabolizes uranium. I can't keep up with this. Mother Base destroyed. Zero hides Big Boss in a hospital in Cyprus and leaves him in Ocelot's care. What? I'm going to have to read back over this. Eli is taken to Great Britain. Zero suffers brain damage due to Skull's parasite attack. Zero visits Big Boss, then disappears completely, never to be seen again. Eli escapes. His handlers in Africa and disappears. Oh man, I'm going to have to come back to this for a second. You know what? I'm going to edit this a little bit differently and come back to it. Because it was too quick. I'm going to slow this down. Alright, so I've come back to kind of do a bit of post-commentary on this because I lost it after the 1974 stuff. Big Boss parts ways with Zero after Les Enfants Terribles project. This is more for myself as well, just so I get a kind of good handle on what's going on here. Peace Walker incident. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, here we go. Look, Zero hides Big Boss in a hospital on Cyprus and leaves him in Ocelot's care. Skullface is reassigned to Africa. The vocal cord parasites are resurrected through reverse evolution. Blah, 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 blah. So Zero hides Big Boss. Okay. The Les Enfants Terribles project is abandoned. Eli is taken to Great Britain and develops a wonderful British accent. Zero suffers brain damage due to Skullface's parasite attack. Right, okay. An underground nuclear test site is discovered beneath the Kalahari Desert. Bowing to international pressure, the South African government abandons the site. Zero visits Big Boss, then disappears completely, never to be seen in public again until Metal Gear Solid 4, even though it's not really in public, when he's like 105 or whatever. So Eli escapes his handlers in Africa. How did he get from the UK to, and why did he go to Africa? I don't understand. But I mean, if Zero brought Big Boss to the hospital, doesn't that mean that again it was a ruse by Cypher? The whole kind of body double thing, all that kind of stuff. Isn't that something that Cypher's done? Or once Zero kind of escapes, then is it just is Big Boss free from his clutches? I'm kind of a bit confused. Emmerich's first child is born with Strangelove. He is named Hal. Okay. Snake awakens in 1984. Quiet suffers full body burns at the hospital in Cyprus and undergoes parasite therapy to survive. Skullface dies. Huh. Like I said, I'm a bit confused about the whole Zero bringing Big Boss to the hospital and then this whole plan that develops from it. Is it something that Zero has a hand in? Or I don't know, because if Zero brought him to the hospital in the first place, he could have killed him whenever he wanted. That doesn't make sense. So is it Skullface is trying to kill Big Boss? Because isn't he like the commanding officer of XOF? that bit's a little bit confusing. I'll have to read up a little bit afterwards. Alright, you can continue with the finale now.
No time for anesthetic. We have to open her now.
He was a medic.
Boss.
So is this from the real big boss?
Now do you remember who you are? What you were meant to do? I cheated death thanks to you. And thanks to you, I've left my mark. You have too. You've written your own history. You're your own man. I'm Big Boss. And you are too. No. He's the two of us together. Where we are today, we built it. This story, this legend, it's ours. We can change the world and with it the future. I am you and you are me. Carry that with you wherever you go. Thank you, my friend. From here on out, you're Big Boss.
Wow. It's the ultimate coming together of the player and the person you play as. So Big Boss is saying that we're together. We've done this whole thing together, and we, as of now, we are one. It's a very interesting idea. The man who sold the world. It said Operation something, I don't know what that says. Operation Intrude. I have no idea what that is. Take counter 716. What is that? Is that like an old... is that a computer? I have no idea what that is. And his horn has grown. Is that something that is this like a hallucination now, or is it like... I think there was something subtle going on there, but I'm not quite sure what it is. Wait a minute. I swear the logo at the back of the door changed. Something happened there that I missed, but... that was interesting. So the guys, you know, we've decided to really take this Big Boss thing to heart. We really have become Big Boss. But what, I mean, again, my first thought is, how does this affect the rest of the game? Which Big Boss is it that's in the MSX games, in the Metal Gear games? Is it this fake Big Boss, the big boss? That I don't understand. What is... I mean, I don't know, it's confusing. And I saw that whole thing about Zero bringing Snake into the into the hospital as well, and putting Ocelot in his care. That's really confusing. But I think this time it's really over. We're really done with the game. I think this whole kind of ending and what it means the rest of the series, etc., that's stuff that I need to think on. It's difficult for me to kind of just sum it all up right now. But the twist was definitely very interesting. It was well executed, for sure. But I'm not sure if it's the greatest solution. I mean, the fact that we've not even been playing as Big Boss. And obviously this solution means that we had to play as this kind of emotionless, one-dimensional guy throughout the entire game. He had no kind of Big Boss charisma that we know and love. So, I mean, okay, fine. It might be a decent idea, but was it really necessary? Could they have not thought of something else? I don't know. But yeah, my thoughts about the game. It's not going to be easy to sum up what we've seen here because it's such a major story event. The fact that Big Boss creates a body clone that goes on to carry on the Big Boss kind of image. That's probably like a whole kind of video series in and of itself. So it's going to be difficult to really sum up everything. But I guess I'll try to give like a mini review here of what I think about the story, what's going on, and the experience itself. So I want to know what happens to the real Big Boss. You know, the one that I'm absolutely certain that the one we see in MGS4 is the true Big Boss. So was he never seen again? The Big Boss that Solid Snake fought against in the Metal Gear games, was that some random? Was it this Venom guy that had no relationship with them? That I don't know. Maybe there's something after the credits that we might see. So definitely keep watching because there's almost always something after the credits in Metal Gear. So it's worth it. Now that we're listening to this song, I'm thinking I'll start with the OST. The OST I was kind of disappointed with. It didn't seem like it had that many tracks that had like, you know, punch to it. It didn't have the same energy that the other games did. The other games OSTs did. And one thing that I learned was that Harry Gregson Williams is not the main. I think he's a producer or something. Like he didn't create the OST from what I know. And I think he's been a little bit missed. And I tend to judge the strength of an OST by the significance and how well implemented the main kind of theme track is. And Sins of the Father, yeah, it was a good song, but I didn't like it as much even as Heaven's Divide. I thought was a better song, more epic. Snake Eater still remains my favourite Metal Gear Solid of all time. But even the way it was implemented, I mean, we had this big, long conversation that, okay, had some important story context, but it was in no way kind of epic or required this massive power ballad. And the time when we got it was just, there was a pause in conversation, and we're just driving through the desert, and it's just like, really? It was a strange one. I'm not sure if they implemented it in the best way. It didn't really, for me personally, it didn't really do much for me. So OST, I thought it was of a lower standard than the other games, that's for sure. Now, gameplay wise, I thought this game was fantastic. In fact, it was probably, gameplay wise, I would say, along with MGS3, is the Metal Gear that I most enjoyed playing. Like physically, the act of playing, absolutely loved it. Metal Gear Solid 3, you know, has other little quirks about that, absolutely loved. But this game, the way they implemented the open world, the AI, you know, the different opportunities to sneak. You know, you could do missions in so many different ways. Reflex mode, the fact they included something like that was very useful. At first, I was like, oh, come on, reflex mode. It's gonna make everything too easy, but I think it made the difficulty balance kind of really good. There was only a few missions, more kind of boss mission type things, where I really had to restart a few times. But in general, the difficulty balance was good, and I think the world was huge. I mean, they really put a lot of detail into the world, and you know, all the different outposts and all that kind of stuff. Gameplay wise, I really enjoyed myself. But the gameplay wise, one of my biggest gripes with this game that I'm pretty sure you've heard from most other people other than the official reviewers, for which everyone seems to give 10s, but most kind of people that you talk to that aren't reviewers would probably say that the game was too long. I mean, the gameplay is good, but when you think about it, it's repetitive because the missions are fairly repetitive as well. Because most of the missions are like, oh, this guy is being held prisoner, we need to extract him, or this general / colonel or whatever the hell he is moving from A to B. You have to make sure you wipe them out, and I think that would be like at least 50% of the missions you have to do. So when the missions are a bit repetitive, and you kind of settle into a pattern of doing certain things, then it starts to drag on. Chapter 2, I think for me it was a disorganized mess. In reality, the way the things you had to do to unlock the real story missions, the fact that they put missions in there twice, it was just like, why, And obviously you heard about the whole kind of difficulty surrounding the production of this game, both from financial point of view, and obviously the rift that occurred between Kojima and Konami, etc. And I think that's had some serious, ramifications on this game. It feels incomplete, and it feels padded out. Seriously, why have 50 missions? This game could have easily got by with 30 missions, and I don't think anything would have changed. We wouldn't have lost anything, because there were certain chunks of the game where you do like 3 or 4 stories, 3 or 4 missions, which would maybe take you an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you'd have like 2 minutes, 3 minutes of like radio calls sprinkled in, and that's all the story advancement that you would get from that. They really kind of... I understand they used to get a lot of criticism for having cutscenes that were too long, and Metal Gear Solid 4 was kind of the epitome of that. Yes, the cutscenes were too long, but I feel like he took it too much the other way. I feel like the skew, especially in Chapter 2, and especially in Chapter 2, was just wrong, if you ask me. Because you can tell from the amount of cassettes that you got in Chapter 2. You'd do a mission, you'd get a 30-second radio call at the end to say, okay, big boss, we got this information about Cypher, etc., etc. And then the next screen would be like, you've got 7 tapes that you'd have to sit and listen to. I mean, I think they use the tapes too much as a way to try to fill in the gaps, as opposed to just giving you kind of extra information. Like I said from the start, if the yellow kind of tapes were integrated more into the game as cutscenes or conversations you could have at Mother Base or kind of on the radio, etc., then it would have been much more successful, I think. I read a comment by someone who said the big oil facility was quite a big area, and they only used it for 1 mission, and there was almost no story attached to it. And he was saying that if this was like an earlier Metal Gear game, they would have dedicated an entire game on that. And yeah, I agree with what they're saying. And they needed to find a better balance. They really should. I mean, they could have integrated the story of 3 or 4 missions into one kind of larger area, and kind of had you do that. So, yeah, I mean, pacing and padding and storytelling-wise, I really think this was subpar. They could have done it better, and I would have loved to have seen it. And I was doing some research. I hear that there's even another ending that you can get if you have the collector's edition or something, which sounds ridiculous, but apparently it's true. There's a mission 51 that you can do, which is going to give you another ending as well. Because, I mean, the ending we've got so far, it didn't really round off what was happening with Cypher, because the whole premise of Chapter 2 was, yeah, okay, we've got rid of Skullface, but now we've got this whole Cypher issue that we need to sort out. We need to make Mother Base bigger, stronger, we need to take on Cypher. And it's just kind of ended with the bombshell that we were never Big Boss all along. It's like, yeah, okay, but what does that mean for the rest of the story? What happens to Mother Base now? I don't get it. So we don't know what happened to the kids. We don't know what happens to people like Code Talker, the parasites. I mean, I never heard the word parasite once in Metal Gear Solid 1, 2 or 4. So it seems to be a part of everything. You've got Metallic Archaea, you've got parasites, you've got all this stuff, and suddenly there's nothing. It's disappeared. So there's a lot of stuff missing. It really is, and it's frustrating as a big time Metal Gear fan who's especially come in here for the story. It's annoying, but we've got the big Hideo Kojima credit here, so I'll shut up for a second and see if there's any more. Okay, the Olympic Games are held. Thank you for telling me. Eli establishes his Kingdom of the Flies in Africa at age 12. That's impressive. So what about Sahelanthropus? Does he establish it with Sahelanthropus? Does that thing get taken down? We hear nothing about that either. Okay, Gulf War. Eli and Solid are sent to the battlefield. blah blah blah. Formation of the Taliban. Taliban means blah blah blah. While commanding special forces unit Fox Sound from Big Boss establishes the fortified military nation. Oh, right. Okay, hold on. So Big Boss. The Big Boss forms Outer Heaven. But isn't Mother Base Outer Heaven? Okay, the rest of it is stuff that we know. Right. So what, is Mother Base just kind of like a proxy kind of Outer Heaven or something? Big Boss dies. So when does Venom Snake die? Is Venom Snake the one that dies in Metal Gear, maybe? Yeah, it's baffling.
What was it all for?
Yes, good question.
If the boss has some plan, what is it?
So Cars didn't know.
The real Big Boss is working separately from us to create his new nation.
Right, okay.
New nation?
A military nation above and apart from all. The true Outer Heaven. Something created to maintain world balance, independent of the struggles for supremacy, for personal profit, the cycles of revenge between countries. It'll be an army, all right, but more. Big Boss is building a nation. But until it's complete, we support the other Big Boss. The Phantom carries on his legend, his meme. That is Big Boss's plan.
So that's the way it is. 9 years ago, I thought everything had been taken from me. But now I really have lost it all. The boss, and the future we were building together.
Exactly.
One day, the age of Big Boss's sons will arrive. They'll likely want to settle the score with him. We have to shape that age. We'll each have roles to play. Building the foundation for a revolution led by both Big Bosses, the True One and the Phantom.
No. Big Boss can go to hell. I'll make the Phantom and his son stronger to send him there. For that, I'll keep playing my role.
You know, sooner or later there will be only one boss. There's only room for one boss. His sons are fated to face each other someday too. If the day ever comes that you go back to Cypher, I'll aid the other son. And then you and I will be enemies too. One of us will have to kill the other.
Fine by me. I'll be ready for the new age. Until then, we'd better get used to coexisting.
I feel really sorry for Cars because Big Boss has kind of left him. He's like, yeah, you kind of stick around with this fake Big Boss, and I'll go and make my own Outer Heaven with hookers and blackjack, and you can't be a part of it. Well, I'm sure he would have wanted to make him a part of it someday, but the fact that Cars is not even in on this is pretty sad. So, Truth Records, okay. So they're probably going to give us one final dump of cassette tapes. It's probably going to take like an hour and a half, and then we'll probably get all of the missing stuff that we have. But I guess the fact that people are still saying that the game's incomplete and has holes in it, I'm guessing there's still some stuff left over even after we've listened to that. So we'll have to see. I think after that, then I'll probably give my kind of full-on kind of review of the game. I mean, so far I've talked about kind of the gameplay and the way they've padded it out and stuff. But I think once I've listened to the final cassettes, then I will give my final opinion. Because there's so much to talk about. I might make a video series, actually.
Development project has been added.
Because I've made so many things about Final Fantasy X, and not enough kind of discussion videos about Metal Gear. I think I might do something like that. How many tapes do we have? Oh yeah, I forgot to listen to those. Yeah, okay, there's a ton of them. Okay, so like I said, I'll I'll probably have a few episodes where I'll complete the final few missions, just in case maybe, because I brought the limited edition, I think. The one that had like the model kind of bionic arm in it and stuff. So I don't know if that means it's the collector's edition, I don't know if it's the same thing. So I'll probably complete the final missions anyway for the sake of completeness. And I'll upload those parts next. And I will label the final part as the final part. And we'll listen to these cassettes and we will have our discussion about the game. And I will round things off. Alright, I will see you guys then. Take care.